Hey everybody, and welcome to Dominion Cards, the video series where we take a strategic, in-depth look at various cards from the board game Dominion. Today we are looking at Treasury. This is a 5-cost action card from Seaside, and its on-play effect is +1 card, +1 action, and +1 coin. It then has a below-the-line effect that says when you discard this from play, if you didn't buy a victory card this turn, you may put this onto your deck. Treasury is what we call a Cantrip Coin, so that's +1 card and +1 action is what we call a cantrip. It just means the card replaces itself in your hand, and then it also gives a coin as well. Now, this is a Cantrip Coin that, because it will keep top decking itself, you basically get to play it every turn up until you buy a victory card, at which point you're not allowed to top deck it anymore. And that might happen either really late, or it might happen pretty early on and consistently if, for example, there's a victory card like Nobles that you want to be buying as the game goes on. Cantrip Coin is an effect that we would value at 4 coins usually in terms of what the card would cost, so you're paying more for Treasury, and that is because you're paying for this top decking bonus that it has on top. So in the market video, I explained how Cantrip Coin for 5 is pretty expensive if the only thing you want is the Cantrip Coin. Now, of course, market is giving you a buy, and Treasury is giving you this top-decking thing. But the big problem with 5 is that 5, there's a lot of competition at 5. It is a big jump to go from a card costing 4 to a card costing 5. And there's some very, very powerful and good cards that cost 5. Now, Treasury, if you're just spending all of your 5s on buying Treasuries, this is a pretty inefficient way to build your deck and add economy. Right, it's fairly slow, you're getting just 1 coin at a time, and sure, it's not a stop card, which is great, but it is just adding only 1 coin at a time. Now, Treasury doesn't normally hurt your deck when you have it. If someone were to offer me a Treasury for free, then sure, absolutely, right, I will take it. A lot of the time, that'll just be great. But it's not giving you that much benefit, and that means that it's pretty weak as a 5-cost card, right? This card is just expensive, is its big problem, for what it gives you. So when is Treasury good? Well, I think there are basically 3 situations where I think Treasury is making the most out of what it's doing in its special abilities. So the first one is that you're expecting to consistently have low economy turns, and you need a way to improve them a little bit. Second is that you are cycling through your deck very slowly while simultaneously not buying victory cards that often. And thirdly, you just want a cantrip action to go on top of your deck every turn. So let's take a look at these 3 things in a little bit more detail. Sometimes you will consistently have low economy turns. So the easiest example is early on if you're doing trashing with a card like Steward. So Steward is a particularly good example here because it trashes 2 other cards from your hand and gives you nothing else. So you just have 2 money, and you just hit 2 money over and over again, right? You might just have 2 coppers left in hand. And so if you could get that to be a little bit more money consistently, well, now you start getting to buy very good cards. If you're just hitting 2 over and over, it could well be that you're just skipping buying anything those turns, right? That buy that you get from the game is just completely gone to waste. Could be that you have a junk-filled deck and there's no trashing and drawing, so half of your hand is going to be stuff like curses or a bunch of coppers and just very poor turns. Or you might have something like Outpost, which very specifically starts you with a weak hand that might have a chance of dudding. And, well, with Treasury, you get to guarantee that maybe that turn is going to be at least a certain value to you. Even if you do dud and you've got like 2 Treasuries, well, you're guaranteed that you're going to get at least 2 money, right? So the main issue that Treasury has to overcome in this situation is that you tend to want it early. Like a lot of these examples are something where, especially the trashing one, like you want to get a Treasury in time to actually start making use of it. So particularly in like the junk-filled deck example, you have to shuffle and then draw the Treasury and then start playing it to start getting the effect. And if you've got a load of junk, like you don't get Treasury early, it's going to be a while until you see it, and maybe it's too late for that. And also, this has to be valuable instead of other 5s. Well, what if the other 5s are something like Witch? Well, in the junk field deck example, you're probably prioritising buying those, and then maybe it's just too late for Treasury afterwards. What about the case where we have slow cycling? So the thing with cycling, that is like the speed at which you get through your deck. And every time you shuffle your deck, all of your cards go back into your draw pile, and you get a chance to play them again. Typically, each shuffle, you only get to play a card one time until you shuffle, and so when you have a deck that is cycling very slowly, you just don't see the cards that you buy very often, and you don't get to play them very often. So if you imagine there is like no draw at all, you don't have any cards that have like plus card on it, and you have a 25-card deck, well, all you're doing is seeing 5 of those cards every turn. It's going to take you 5 whole turns until you shuffle your deck. So if I bought something like a gold, well, it's going to be at least 5 turns until I actually see it to play it. But it could be all the way up to like 9 turns later until I see it in like the worst case example. So the value of Treasury top decking itself is that you actually get to play it multiple times. Now, if I am playing it like 4 times in a shuffle, well, suddenly this is way better than gold. I mean, yeah, that coin's getting spread out to every turn, but I'm getting a lot of value out of the card because I'm playing it way more often than I would any other card. So when do you have these big bloated decks that you cycle through very slowly? Well, again, it's like junk-filled deck. There's no trashing, there's no drawing. That's a key example. The big problem with slow cycling decks in Treasury is that if you have a bad slow cycling deck, you tend to be buying victory cards early and often. A key example is like the Duchy Duke slog, but it doesn't even have to be a special treasure. So the reason why you do this is because the victory cards do not hurt you anywhere nearly as much in a slow cycling deck as they do in an engine, and that's because you just don't draw them as often. I add in a Duchy, I don't see it for 10 turns. Well, why not start buying them a lot sooner? In addition to that, the potential that you can reach on your turn is a lot lower. Maybe you only get to gain 1 card, and that is your buy for the turn. And because you therefore cannot get up to like double province turns, you need to start buying them earlier, and so you're just buying victory cards over and over again. And that means that Treasury doesn't get to top deck itself, and it's just a regular Cantrip Coin, and that might be pretty bad, and it's going to be especially bad at 5. Okay, well, what about just top decking it because you need a cantrip on top? So throne room variants really like having a cantrip top decked every turn because it makes it a lot easier for them to get the village effect. If you have your starting hand to be just like throne room and a smithy, well, sure, you get to draw a lot of cards, but you don't get to play any more action cards, right? Your turn is over. You need to throne a card that has +1 action on it to get the village effect and then potentially continue your turn. So if you have like a Treasury top decked every turn and you draw a throne room, well, now you always know that you get to have the village effect. Okay, maybe you have 1 Treasury and you draw the throne room when you play it. It's not going to be perfect, but it really improves your odds of doing that. And then there's the case of King's Court and Mastermind, where they actually get to draw you cards when they do it. In the case of Mastermind, maybe you would rather play a smithy first and just get even more draw, but King's Court in particular really likes Treasury. It's a good set of effects that you get with just Cantrip Coin. And hey, the money helps you buy more King's Courts, right? So that's really nice there. Conspirator is another example. It needs you to play 2 action cards until you get to activate them and turn them into a cantrip. So if you have 2 treasuries, well, hey, you get to activate your conspirators guaranteed every turn until you buy victory cards. But, that's still going to be pretty reliable early on for a large chunk of the game. And, even if you then don't get to top deck treasuries, well, you've still got these nice cantrips in your deck that are helping you out with Conspirator. You might just randomly draw it into your starting hand anyway, right? You never know. One thing to pay attention to with treasuries is discard attacks. So cantrips in general can sometimes be pretty awkward when there's strong discard attack like militia around. So the reason for this is that when you get hit with a discard attack, you really want to be discarding the worst cards that you have. And the problem is that if you have all these cantrips in hand, you might leave the cantrips in hand and then play them, and then you end up drawing the bad cards and not get a chance to to discard them. So imagine that I top deck a Treasury and then the top card of my deck is now a curse. If I hadn't top decked the Treasury, I might have drawn the curse in with my starting hand instead and then get to discard it. The thing with Treasury, though, is that the top decking is optional. So in the case of something like Militia, maybe eventually at a certain point in the game, you just choose to stop top decking it, right? And then maybe that's fine, right? Just remember, in the face of discard attacks, you don't have to top deck it. And sometimes maybe you won't want to anyway, just because there's a discard attack. It is worth noting that Treasury, it loses its ability to top deck only when a victory card is bought, but buying cards is not the same as gaining cards. Sometimes there are ways to gain powerful victory cards without buying them. So examples include Remodel and its variants. If you can trash a gold or even like another province, you get to gain a province, and that does not stop you from top decking Treasury. You have cost reduction like Bridge, or even better, Inventor. If you can get the cost reduction enough that province goes down like below 4, well, workshops like also Inventor, they get to just pick them up directly. Or smugglers, you need 2 bridges and a smugglers, and now you can just gain provinces. But there's also some powerful events like Dominate, Alliance, and Triumph. These gain you a victory card, but you're actually only buying the event. So that means that this doesn't count for Treasury, even though when you buy these you get a load of victory cards and a load of points. The event is what you are buying, and so you still get to keep top decking the Treasury. And in the case of Dominate and Alliance, these are really expensive events, so having this consistent money that you're guaranteed every turn helps you buy these, and then you get to continue top decking them. So these are pretty good combos, sort of, with a Treasury. Last of all, sometimes you have these games where you're just not gaining victory cards at all, or at least you wait until the final turn, in which case top decking victory cards doesn't matter. So this could be that you have cards that give you a lot of victory point tokens like Bishop or like Wild Hunt or something, or maybe you're going for something like a Bridge Megaturn where suddenly you buy all of them out in one turn. But there's also things like 3 piling games where the pile's suddenly empty and you pick up like a single estate or whatever. In this case, you never have to worry about losing the top decking ability because you're just not buying victory cards. Anyway, that is all I have to say on Treasury. So what we are going to do now is we are going to head over to the online client and we are going to generate some random kingdoms with Treasury, and we're going to see how well it fares. Here we have Steward to trash. We have Witch for junking. We have Shanty Town as a village. That's a pretty stinky village, but we do have it. There is also Swindler. Given how bad the village is, probably not. What I would really like to do is throw a load of curses at my opponent with Witch. I think the engine is poor enough that actually playing Witch a bunch is nice. I don't really want to be spending a lot of turns trashing with Steward. So I would like to get Shantytowns, Stewards, Witches, maybe some patrols. There is no plus buy here, so the best we are going to do is hit 8. And you know what? It's fine to have some golds to do that, probably. Not sure if I go as far as treasure map, but maybe. Maybe the deck just doesn't actually stabilise easily enough. So, interestingly, there is pirate ship here. And if we want to get thin and play a lot of witches, and we kind of need money except for Treasury, then maybe I actually do want a Treasury here if I can get it. I'm not prioritising it over Witch. Well, Pirate Ship's pretty bad. I know we have a thin deck, but maybe Pirate Ship still isn't the sort of thing you'd want to buy because the village is really poor, so actually I don't think we worry about that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get thin by Witch. Start single provincing, basically. That's the thing. Buy golds, some silvers. There is Caravan as well to help a bit with draw, actually. That's quite nice. I think what I'm doing is I'm opening Steward and Caravan, perhaps. I would like a number of caravans, and we're going to start trashing down. The caravan is actually going to help me with a bit of draw in order to have my steward turns be a little bit better, so I can buy Shantytown or maybe some more stewards. The stewards help me with money as well. So I don't think I need Treasury. I think caravan early on is going to give me improvement on those low economy turns. Eventually I want to start buying witches and maybe patrols over treasuries. And then eventually I just need some money somehow. And I don't think Treasury gets a look in. I think it's just too expensive here. It could have use, but not at 5. Right? Like, there's just better things to be doing. So, yeah, it's just too weak there, sadly. Here we have upgrade as trashing. We have... what is draw? There is library and there is moat, but there's no village, which is a real pain here. So what do we do in the absence of a village? What's Ironworks going to get us? Secret passages, moats, harbingers, barons, cellars? Those are awful, so Ironworks doesn't feel very good. I do still want to get rid of my coppers with upgrade, but what am I going to do after that? Courtier has a problem here in that moat is the only 2 type. I guess Courtier could gain you golds, right? You could still... Well, instead of a Courtier, you could get a second upgrade. No, that's probably bad. What am I actually doing? I wonder if I'm opening Baron and Silver. I'm trying to get an upgrade or 2, and I want to keep an estate around. And then I just hope that I draw the estate with the Baron for a bit. That will get me a bunch of money, and then... do I use treasuries here? So the only plus buy is Baron, which is nice. I actually think Treasury might have some use, so I'm going to get thin with upgrade. I'm going to have these turns where I'm trashing coppers, like playing Baron. Like, do I want a gold straight away, or would I rather have a treasury for a bit? Maybe I have like 1 or 2 treasuries before I start like buying golds. Maybe eventually I can trash treasuries into golds for the late game. With upgrade. I don't know. Maybe Treasury's pretty poor here, but I can see an argument for it. Courtier, I want to be playing Baron as my only terminal, basically. So, once I have an upgrade, if I hit 5 again, maybe I'm getting treasuries, like I just hit 5. Maybe I would always rather have gold instead of treasury, but I can see me getting one just because Cantrip Coin is nice here, and there's not really much else I'm doing at 5. So it just doesn't have that much competition. So yeah, I can see it. And as I say, if I know I'm going to have a good turn later on, I might be able to upgrade a treasury into a gold for the remaining turns. But yeah, keeping 1 estate around for Baron seems like it might be decent here as well, possibly. I don't like Ironworks. Unless I get a bunch of secret passages and then upgrade it into Treasury, but I don't know. I think there's not enough time for a lot of upgrade shenanigans. I think it's no draw. Moving on, we have Lookout to trash and arguably remodel as well. We have a fishing village as a very good village. We have militia. We have lurker to get artisan. So this is interesting. We have artisan to pick up 5-cost cards, and treasury is a very spammable 5-cost card. Right, we can use artisan to just pick up a bunch of treasuries and play them a lot. There is Sea Hag. Do we want it? Lookout's not great as a trasher. There is no draw is the big problem. Okay, that's a huge issue looking at that. That means militia is going to be incredibly strong. And fishing village as a stock card village is really going to hurt. I want to play militia every single turn. That's the big thing that I really want to do. I think militia is actually going to be nastier than Sea Hag here, especially because there's Lookout. But you can't start like warehousing either if you're getting hit with militia a lot. So the main aim of this game is that I want to play militia as much as I can. So I'm opening Lookout and militia, and I think even lurker is bad to get artisan because there's no draw. And I might have multiple militias. Maybe I'm doing Lookout and then I'm shifting into like a militia big money thing. And maybe I even have multiple lookouts. I get a second one. I just want to get thin. I want to play militia. And then I kind of have to go for golds or treasuries because I only have 3-card hands. And you know what? Cantrip Coin might be good there. Like, the only other way I'm getting to province is like militia, gold as a 3-card hand, or like some fishing villages. So Treasury as a Cantrip Coin seems like it has a bunch of value here. It would be real nice if I could pick up an artisan and get treasuries, but it's going to be tough to make use of village effect. Maybe I have 1 or 2 fishing villages, not that many. And militia and artisan, these are the only terminals. Sea Hag would be nice, I admit, but the curses are probably just going to get discarded a lot, and they're easy to trash and look out, so I don't think I worry about that. So Treasury, I think, actually has value here. The fact that artisan makes it easy to gain 5 costs means it's not really as expensive, and because hand sizes are consistently really low, you have these low economy turns often, and you really want treasuries. And, you're going to be buying provinces now and then, and you will not be able to top deck the treasuries, but that's fine, right? Like, there's a militia attack anyway, so maybe I don't care that much about top decking them, but it would be nice to have a bunch of treasuries here because it's very inconsistent hitting province, and this will just make it a little bit more consistent. So, hey, this is a treasury board. Very nice. Seems like it's got good value here. Here there is 2 victory cards. We have Mining Village as a village, and we've got Wharf, a very strong draw, and we've got Smithy, and we've got Courtyard. So there's a bunch of draw, and there's Upgrade to get thin. So there is an engine here. There's Mining Village, there is Wharf. You can get thin with Upgrade, so we want to get to Upgrade first of all. So I think I'm opening Cut Purse and Silver. I want to stop my opponent from hitting 5 for their upgrade, so Cut Purse seems nice. Once I get Upgrade, I'm going to try and thin. I want to be buying mining villages, I want to be buying wharves, and we just draw a lot with that, and then we start adding golds. Treasury here is okay. Is it actually against Cut Purse is interesting. This is actually a particular type of discard attack where starting with a bunch of treasuries is actually good because you're less likely to have copper in hand, which is quite funny. But no, I think it's too important to get mining villages and wharves, and I would rather just have like some silvers. Once that's going, like if I need money, silver's going to be better than treasury for a bit because drawing a lot is easy with wharf, and then we can, at 5, I would still, Upgrade and Wharf. If you get more upgrades, you can turn them into golds, which is going to be better in a Village Wharf deck. So I think Treasury is ignored here. You are obviously not doing it in a Duchy Duke deck. You are obviously not going for Gardens, or you wouldn't have it in a Gardens deck. Yeah, you're going to have a ton of buy. So I think Treasury gets ignored here. There are just better things for 5. It's not the right board for it. Although the Cut Purse interaction there is kind of cute, it's not good enough. So here there is Ambassador to thin, which is very good at getting thin. We have Festival and Bazaar as a village, so Bazaar's going to be pretty good. There's Patrol to draw, so there's pretty good draw as well. There's also Courtyard to draw. We have Smugglers, which is going to be real nice with Bazaars, Patrols, and Festivals going around. So we get to get thin pretty quick. We get to gain very good cards. We get to draw a lot. Do we go for Treasury here? I'd much rather have Bazaar. It is a Cantrip Coin, but better, and I don't really care that much for the top decking effect. Treasury is a nice last resort if we happen to want to spend 5 for some reason on a Cantrip Coin and all the Bazaars have gone. I'm going to have some Festivals just for the buy, but really I'm going Bazaar. Patrol is like the main engine here. Get thin with Ambassador. Treasury might be incidentally picked up late just because it's Cantrip Coin, but honestly, if it's late, maybe you're starting to Duchy or something, so Treasury here, there's just too much competition at 5. There are very good 5s. Like Bazaar is just almost, it's not strictly better than Treasury, but it's like a lot better than Treasury most of the time because it's a village, and village is very good. Anyway, there you go. So Treasury, pretty weak 5 cost, but as you can see, like occasionally it has use. It's just not very strong. It's quite expensive for what it's giving you. And, well, that's it really. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.